Hello and welcome to the PCT podcast. On episode 3, we are joined by UEFA B licence and FA Youth Award holder Mackenzie Faulkner, who currently coaches in the foundation phase at Port Vale. We speak openly about coaching in the foundation phase and the challenges it brings. We hope you enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on other social media platforms. Hi Mackenzie, thank you for joining us on the PCT podcast today, mate. How are you and the family during this time?
Yeah, we're all right, mate. We're getting there. It's not ideal for anyone, is it? But no, we're okay, thank you. You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Going from coaching to homeschooling two girls is a bit of a career change, but as you say, there's nothing we can do really. But it has given us a chance to drop out of the sort of fast lanes of life, really, hasn't it? So, what are you doing at the minute to keep yourself busy?
To be fair, I was working over the Easter time, looking after some of the key worker children, but now I've just got my uni work to finish off, really. 2 or 3 things just to hand in, and then I'm kind of all done with uni. Try to keep fit, because obviously staying in the house is difficult. I can go out for 1 hour a day, but yeah, just trying to keep myself ticking over, really, just keep active.
That's all we can do. Just for those that are listening, mate, if you don't mind, just give us a little insight into what you currently do. I know you mentioned there you're at uni, but I know you've got quite a few roles and just sort of where you are on your coaching pathway.
Yeah, so I'm in my 3rd year at uni, and that course is a PE and youth sport coaching degree. So allows me to become a teacher or a sports coach. Hopefully at the end, I do my PGCE starting in September, all being well, which will hopefully again allow me to be a teacher the following September. I work in the foundation phase, got the under 10s, good little group there, really enjoy that. Done that for 2 years now. I also head up Hanley Town Coaching School, which is on a Saturday morning where kids just come down, pay a little session fee and get loads of kids and just a normal session for them. They can come from anywhere really, so that's interesting and good. Part-time work, I also obviously work for PCT when we're back up and running, doing some coaching there, which is good. And then just little bits at ASM really, where we go into primary schools and deliver PE for the younger ones rather than their actual teacher doing it. We go in and hopefully do some specialised teaching with them.
Fantastic. So a wide variation of teaching and coaching, really. Is there much of a difference, would you say, between the two?
Yeah, I believe there is. I haven't figured it out yet, but there is. I think as soon as you can try and be professional in every environment you go to. But when you go into schools, and at the moment I'm working for ASM, not necessarily the school. So with each different school, you have to put a different hat on. So whatever that teacher, whatever that school wants, you have to, they're paid for us really. So we have to abide by what they say. But yeah, I think there is a difference. Similarities, loads of similarities, but I think there is a difference with it as well.
So with that, jumping ahead a little bit, is that you're going into different environments and also sort of adapting your sessions to other people's way of thinking. How is that helping you develop sort of your philosophy as a young coach?
Yeah, it does really, because you have to, like you say, you have to adapt to what they want, and sometimes it might not be what I want, but then in the bigger picture, that could be better for me, learning off other people and learning off other teachers and putting their ideas and getting their concept across, really. So yeah, it is.
Would you say at the minute you have a clear philosophy as a coach at the minute, or is it something that you're constantly building? The reason I ask is we spoke to somebody the other day who's in the pro game, and he said it's okay really to not know your philosophy.
Yeah, I think I have me morals and me key points that I look to take into every session. But in regards to me philosophy, I think of a new one every day. Like he does like chop and change and like, oh, that's a good idea. I'll do that one next time. Or I did that 2 weeks ago and it works. So I'll try it again here. So I think I try and carry certain things into every session. So certain personality traits into every session. But then I have to adapt. I have to be mindful that the way I want it to go might not work. So I have to adapt to what children want in that instance, really.
So what's in front of you?
Exactly, yeah. Because at the end of the day, whether it's about them, not me. I think we see loads of coaches who stand still. Sorry, and always talking, and that loads of people get accused. Loads of children, get accused of being robots. I think that comes from us as coaches or us as teachers telling them do this, do that. Why not give them a little bit of freedom, give them a little bit of creativity? Off you go, obviously within line and health and safety and stuff like that. But I think it's about them, not us. Not every child's going to be the same.
I mean, it's interesting you mentioned something that we're going to touch on later on in the sort of the chat. But I just want to go back to sort of how you got into coaching, and I know you've come through the academy system yourself. So talk to us about how you got signed, and you spent time at local clubs, Stoke and Vale. How did that come about then?
First club was Blurton Colts. I think it was. I don't think you can sign till you're under sevens, but I played up a year. I was under sixes. I think my dad got me involved somehow. Must have lied about my date of birth or something, but played for Blurton Colts. Then went to Longton Harriers. And at Longton Harriers, there's a group of us. I think there was about 6 or 7 who then went on to different academies: Man United, Crewe, Stoke. I think Vale was one. I ended up going Stoke. Went there for 6.5 years. Okay. Enjoyed my time there. Got released from there. I think it was 14. Then went straight to Vale. Stayed at Vale. Really enjoyed my time there. Did 4 teams at Vale, all the way through to the end of YT, which is obviously the scholarship. At the end of that, I didn't get a pro contract, but yeah, kind of my coaching comes from that, because when I was doing my YT, I completed my level 2 as part of the course, which is ideal. I completed my level 2 whilst playing football still, basically. So that kind of tied in nicely. And when football didn't work out, that was another path that they put in place for me to do, really.
So was it playing for a scholarship, really, or pro terms, should I say? Chucked onto your level 2. Did anything sort of light up and you go, wow, I could adapt as a player here, or was it something you just did?
I'll be honest, something I just probably did. Being a young lad, what was it, 16, 17 maybe, probably 17 when I completed it. Probably just a young lad, just probably thought at that time it was to tick a box. I've always been interested in like the tactical element of the game and stuff like that. But on my level 2 in particular, it wasn't about that really. It was about like, I think everyone on the course passed type of thing. Yeah. So I think it was one of them really, not as in like an eye-opening moment. It was just like, oh yeah, I've done it. So yeah, really.
So you mentioned a release at the end of the YT. What were your thoughts from there? Did you plan for that, or was it something that wasn't expected as such?
At the time, I don't think you can plan for it really. At the time, I thought it was close to getting one, but then the right decision now is like I didn't get one, so that's probably the right decision. So it was hard for me to take, but then after that, things just kind of stood in place. I still wanted to chase the dream for a couple of months, trying to get into pro clubs. Went on a couple of trials here and there, but to be fair, like, I quite quickly realised that it wasn't going to happen like that. If it was going to happen, then I'd go to non-league and work my way up. But I realised that I'm not going to get a pro club straight after, so I kind of accepted that. But to be fair, once I did finish like college and that type of stuff, I did start a little bit of part-time coaching for one of the college tutors there. He had a little business on the side, so I started working for them, only like an hour a week. But I think at the end of the day, that's where I kind of got my foot in the door with coaching.
Because you completed the B licence at quite a young age, really. Is that something that you're quite proud of, having, as I say, completed the level 2 as part of the YT? And when was it you really thought, right, it's time for me to go and kick on?
Yeah, I think it's just go back to the question where you said when I was doing level 2, did it help or did it kind of make me a better player?
Mhm.
When I did level 2, no, not really. But when I did my UEFA B, I think it was 21 or 20, then obviously only playing non-league, that made me think about the game a little bit different. That helped me. I don't know if I was more mature, but that helped me figure things out in a game a little bit better or put things across. So yeah, completing the B is. I think it is a proud thing to have, especially at a young age, because I don't think the B is a tick box exercise. I think you need to, obviously, yourself when you do your project, you put everything into it. It has to be spot on. It is yours, and to be fair, they can quite easily turn you down and say no, that you're not quite ready. So yeah, I think it was like a massive thing for me to complete my B, and I think that's just kind of certified and got the wheels in motion that I do want to pursue coaching. I do want to pursue teaching. Because obviously being released and stuff like that, it's a bit all up in the air. But then as soon as I kind of knuckle down with that, I'm going to get on my B license, on my B bank. It's kind of, like I say, certified the direction, whether that be coaching or teaching, similar thing, but it's certified the direction I want to go, really.
So again, just sort of alluding to it, do you now see the game differently, having completed the B license?
Yeah, I see it differently. I see it differently in the fact that I always thought that coaching was always about the ball, but then on my B license, I discovered look away from the ball sometimes. So even in 5-a-side, so in the foundation when I'm doing 5-a-side, there's so much that goes on off the ball, which is quite a good skill to have. I haven't mastered it yet by any means, but I'm trying to learn, trying to get that if I can look away from the ball sometimes, that might be even more valuable to the players themselves than people actually on the ball. Because I think what you find, especially in the foundation phase, most kids love having the ball and they do incredible stuff with it. That's why they're there. That's why they're good. That's why they're footballers. So we need I need as a coach to pick up on the things around that. Yeah, let them excel when they're on the ball, but can I identify where they need help off the ball and trying to put that information across to them, really.
Again, you raised a couple of great points in terms of being robots and helping players away from the ball. It's something that I used to do, is follow the ball, and probably now vice versa. I don't look anywhere near the ball and look what's going on. So it brings us sort of onto the topic of today's chat. You've been coaching in the foundation phase now for a couple of years. Under 10s group, is that right?
Yeah, under 10s, yeah.
So how are you finding going in at the foundation phase?
I think it was a kind of next step for me. I think it'd be silly of me, in fact, to go straight to the 11-a-side game. I enjoy the technical element of the game, so learning how the children pass the ball and how they strike the ball and getting the real fundamentals of the football game. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy putting that on for them, and I think what I also enjoy doing is putting games on for them to thrive. So it's not necessarily a passing drill where it's against the wall and it's pass the ball 1,000 times type of thing. It's you're in a game scenario, players are coming towards you, little ones around the corner. How are you gonna accept that? And especially, I think everyone loves 5-a-side. So you know what I mean. Grown men play 5-a-side, and how quick the game is. So for the moment, for the kids, I think it's good to get them into that 5-a-side little game, so they can make decisions for themselves and, like I say, not create robots. Let them do themselves.
As you say, that's quite nice. Are we doing too much? Do you feel players are becoming robots? Are we overcoaching?
I think, talking for myself, I try not to do that, but another coach might think that I do that. So I think it's down to opinion. I think what you got to be careful the line which you let them be creative and be experimental, because if they're trying things and they're trying and it's not coming off, okay, it's all well and good being a coach saying, oh, unlucky, try again. But if that's not the right thing to do, I think there's got to be a point where they've got to understand that. So you can't just keep saying, oh yeah, good try, or yeah, good skill, try it again next time. If that's not working, I'd be doing a misservice as a coach to try and kid them that it was working. Really, yeah.
It's quite a fine line. Do you feel that you do too much for them or not enough?
In the academy setting, or just in general?
Yeah, go for it in the academy.
Again, another bugbear of mine. You see academy children, like you go to your top clubs around the country, and like you say, they've got everything. And one half of me thinks, oh, they've got too much too soon. But then the other half thinks, if everything's there for them, why wouldn't you give that child the best opportunity to flourish? So if, I don't know, say if they've got the best pitches, obviously, in the country, and they play on a carpet every week, why wouldn't you let them play on that? They're going to get loads more, I don't know, that the touch is going to be better on the passing, and the football's going to look better. So why wouldn't you do that? But then the other half of me says, that's not the real world. We're trying to create players for all levels, because not all of my under 10s, not all of them are going to be professional footballers. It's like near enough impossible, isn't it? But yeah, it's fact. So how can I create them better people first and foremost, but then how can I create them to enjoy football at any level that they end up playing at? So yeah, I think it's a difficult one, and I haven't found the line, and I don't think many people have. But yeah, too much too soon, some cases. But then why wouldn't you? Because if you've got them facilities, you've got that environment, you'd surely give them the best chance to flourish. So I think fine lines.
Do you actually play enough to go out and just have games and work things out for themselves as such, or are we over analytical, do you think?
I think we can be. I think we definitely can be. I think it's I think it's hard as a coach, because if I'm just sitting there or standing there, not doing anything, people around, if the head of coaching came down or parents on the side, he's not doing anything there. He hasn't spoke to them in 20 minutes. He's letting them play. He's not a good coach. You know what I mean? It's kind of that thing, that vibe that comes across. But actually, there has been times throughout, especially with our under 10s, when we do just let them play. I've got this thing where we have half an hour for a game, and I split it up into 3 sections. So I say, first 10 minutes, you can play. Not going to say a single word, unless there's a free kick or something like that. I'm not going to say a single word. Second 10 minutes, I'm going to come round and I'm going to talk in your ear, do a little drive-by if I see something. The third 10 minutes, I can stop it whenever I want. If there's a problem, if I see something that's going on, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to make you stand still. I'm going to make you come in this shape. And hopefully, does that work for me sometimes? Sometimes the last 10 minutes I just let it play, because there might be nothing to kind of cotton on to, nothing for them to learn, or not learn, but nothing for them to stop and stand still about. It only might affect one player, so what's the point in stopping them all? Might just go over to him. But I think we have to encourage that more, letting them play, becoming better decision makers, but not too much, as in they go out there and they keep making the same mistakes over and over again, because then effectively that's not learning and getting better.
No. The end goal really is to develop players who are capable with the demands of the game, as you say, at all levels. And we can maybe overanalyze. Do you think maybe some egos get in the way of coaching and player development, i.e. from coaches?
I think one of the first things I said actually was it's about them, not us, not me. And I think ego is good. I think you have to have a bit about you. I think you have to show something for maybe the players to buy into you, or maybe to your coaching, the academy to buy into you. You need to show that you have something. But when it comes down to the actual session, it needs to be about them. Your ego might be, I don't know, twisted a little bit. You might lower it down a little bit, but again, your personality, your traits, your strong points have to come across. And if your ego is one of them, and you have a good ego, you come across really, really well, then yeah, I think you should use it. But in regards to maybe being a professional footballer and coming in with the fact that you know it all and you're not going to listen to anyone else's opinions, then I don't think that's the way to move forward and to better, one, yourself, and two, most importantly, the players.
You mentioned there, there's a perception that as a coach sometimes you can be stood there for a period of time and be perceived to not be doing any coaching. I suppose it is easy to fall into a trap of just becoming a facilitator of a session. Do we want facilitators of sessions, or do we want to create environments that make, allow the players to make decisions? And how much would you say that should go into the session planning?
Yeah, I think that's a good point when you say facilitators, because there has been times in my coach career where I've just been a referee. I have just facilitated the session. I have just kind of let it run. I haven't gone in with detail. I haven't gone in with real good knowledge and told the players what I think or what do they think about it. So yeah, I think it is important that you don't become a facilitator, but then it's that line again, isn't it? Getting the fine line between being a facilitator and being that coach that has the knowledge. And I think in regards to planning your sessions and delivering them, I think the plan is all well and good. I think that needs to have loads of effort put into it and loads of time spent to get outcomes. But there's nothing in saying that plan could go all up in the air. You might have a brilliant design down on your paper, think, oh, it's going to work, and then a player doesn't turn up, or might be too windy, and I don't know, the players can't stand around for something like that. So something changes within the game, within the session. Sorry, I think that's important. But yeah, ideally, if you could plan a session and go after them outcomes, I think that is useful, and I think it does play a part in the development as you as a coach, and then again the players.
I like how you mentioned there that every detail, but then something as simple as the weather could interrupt it. How much importance would you place on reviewing your session?
I think that is probably the biggest one. I've done quite a lot of work at uni, and at the moment that's all about reviewing, trying to better yourself, trying to improve, trying to go one better than you did before. I think, I'll be honest, I think it's hard to review yourself. I think you have to be a certain person, because I don't think from my experience, I don't think a lot of people enjoy going back through and picking fault with themselves or even picking strengths. I think it kind of depends what person you are, but I think it is important because we don't want to get stuck in the same way. We want to evolve, and the only way you're going to evolve as a coach is if you are reviewing. Oh, okay, that didn't work last week. This week I'm going to try this. Oh, okay, that worked. The following week I'll use that, but then you've got to review that again because it might not work in that circumstance.
Obviously, we're fortunate to have some really gifted players working in academies. And what sort of advice would you give to coaches working in the foundation phase at grassroots level in terms of session planning? Because obviously we might get a little bit more time to do the planning and reviewing. And, hopefully we have a lot of coaches listening who are working in the grassroots sort of level. What would you say to them about their sessions? Make it as close to the game as possible, borderline in facilitating, or put loads of effort into technical line drills, or what advice would you give to them?
For me, it'd be obviously within the grassroots, like you say, you don't have the contact time. So for me, it'd just be getting on the ball, getting on the football, especially at the start of the session, even if it's, the first 10 minutes, loads of touches on the ball, in a box, in a square, little games, little maybe like King of the Rings, or you have to touch every line and back, or little stuff like that, just to get loads of touches of the ball and make them comfortable with it, really. But then I believe with them not having the same amount of time and not the same standard of player, I think it is important that they do make the environment, for one, a really good one. I think that's important everywhere, but especially in grassroots, because, like I say, not all of them players are going to become professional. So make that environment good, make it worth the time. And 2, just trying to bring fun and enjoyment so the participation will last for a while, really. But I think it is important for the environment to be spot on, and especially whether that be facilitating a game or stuff like that. I think it is important to do that. Not necessarily your boring drills, because like you say, they normally only get 1 hour a week, maybe a little bit more if they're lucky.
And you've got previously coming off, which can be a session, getting off afterwards, which, all that. I think a key thing I've come across maybe the last 12 months or so is, I think at all levels, we've got to help people who play football fall in love with the game, because that's a common goal. We coach, we play because we love the game. So do you think how can we help young people fall in love with the game of football?
Yeah, I think it is, isn't it? That's why we do it. I think that's why the country's struggling at the moment without football, because we don't know that we don't know what it's like with not having it. So I think that's really important. But I think the ways we can go about it is creating that environment, getting that family ethos, and getting that whole collectiveness as a community, getting that spot on. So then hopefully, don't get me wrong, you will get dropouts. You have it in every sport or in every profession. I think you will get dropouts, but it is getting that enjoyment side out of it to get the participation levels up, really.
I mean, you've worked at the foundation phase now for a couple of years. What skills would you say are needed for a coach coaching in the foundation phase, whether that be 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s? What are the key skills a coach needs to possess?
Like I say, being there for a couple of years and learning off other coaches around me, I think first of all you have to be an enthusiast, especially with the foundation phase. You have to be enthusiastic. You have to come across really well. Your mannerisms have to be spot on for that age group, because they've got, yourself, foundation phase kids have got more energy than anyone. They're absolutely buzzing. Like when we do sessions on a Wednesday, Friday, whenever it is, that is their time. They come to put on a show for us effectively. That's the moment they look forward to all week, and especially the games on the Sunday. That is their time. So I think it's really important for us as coaches, and especially the foundation, to be enthusiastic, to be a good person around them, to show good morals. But then I always think as well that you have to be a good student of the game. You have to know the game to put it across at their level. And I don't kind of enjoy the term dumbing it down, because an under 10 or an under 9, that they might know as much as an under 14. So you don't want to dumb the knowledge down. You want to put it in a way that's appropriate for them to understand the game. And I think as a foundation phase coach, that's the hardest thing to do, really, because the game is 11-a-side, and that's what you're preparing them for. But how the pitches in my 5-a-side game on a Sunday, how are they going to look to my centre back or centre midfielder in 5 years' time when he's playing 11-a-side? How can I put them pictures in his head already to help him develop further?
I think on the youth model itself, one of the biggest things I took away from that was, as coaches, we can be at times quite egotistical, and we're the ones with all the answers. I've certainly found after this bit of advice is that the players have the answers and we have the questions. It's about posing those questions in a way that's suitable for them. And again, part of that course, one of the things that I learned was, say, for example, if you're coaching under 10s, be 9. So for that 2-hour training session, think like a 9-year-old. And you allude to it there of getting down to their level and making it understandable for them. Would you say that's something that you've probably done, subconsciously?
Yeah, I think you do, hanging around with them on a Wednesday, Friday. I think that you do, because you get to know your players, you get to know their banter. They're 10 years old, but they have banter. Let me tell you, you get to know them. So yeah, you do kind of filter into their age. You do kind of wish you were their age and want to act like them, really. But then you've also got to come across as you're the coach and that kind of authority type of thing. But yeah, it is really important to understand them, and by doing that, by acting 9 or by acting 10, it is a good way to do it. It is a good way to be enthusiastic with them.
Would you say listening is important at the foundation phase? Because one thing I've possibly seen is every kid who plays football at that age just wants to impress you. So maybe just having that time to listen to them could really spot that creative player in them. Would you say?
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you say, I think 9 and 10 and maybe 11 as well, that is when they're at the most creative, because that's when they're trying things out. It's one of the first times they really come in contact with games and footballs and stuff like that over them years, that they can try them things out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think, like you said earlier, we have the questions, they have the answers. So I think definitely if we can listen to them, we can take stuff on board from them. I think that's certainly, one, going to make me a better coach, and 2, hopefully better them as a player.
I mean, you mentioned it, Macca, that the environment is something that's key. How important is creating that environment at the foundation phase?
Like I say, I spoke about it earlier on, and it is important to get that environment. It comes from a club environment, but then it comes from obviously the youth team, the first team environment, the youth team, and then so on, all the way down to the foundation phase. And I think it is really important to get that environment, because, like I say, we have parents coming from, 80 miles away, like 40, 80 miles away, 80 mile round journey there and back. So I think it's really important to get that environment right, because they're giving up their time, and they're giving up they're affecting their time, and the parents are. So we've got to get that environment to make it, 1, worth their while, and 2, don't do them a misservice, because if they're coming and they're not enjoying it, the likelihood of it is they're not going to be able to flourish as a football player, which is what they want to do. But if they aren't enjoying it, and they don't feel like they can make mistakes, or they can do certain things, and that's not going to make them a better person either, because they're living within the shell. So if we get that environment spot on, 1, they become better people, and 2, they become better footballers.
So the environment is massive. You've come through the academy system from a very young age. You're now coaching in the academy system. What are the biggest differences you're seeing now, if you can remember back that far?
Yeah.
What are the biggest differences between the coaching and sort of the information you get now?
Well, I remember when I was in the foundation phase, I used to love my foundation phase coaches. Absolutely class. I remember there's one at Stoke named Swifty, and you were saying if I was 9, he needed to act 8. he did act 8. He was class, and like you say, he got that spot on. In regards to the differences, I think maybe the facilities, for one, in regards to how we were playing. So I think that affects the coaching. But then I remember we always used to kind of do summer sessions, and it used to be maybe drill-based type of sessions. So I don't know whether it's a thing that the FA have brought in, or just coaches going down a different path. But it seems now to be more games orientated, rather than before it was kind of pass the ball in 2s, like repetition. There's still nothing wrong with that to an extent. Still, I think that needs to happen. But passing the ball in 2s for a long time, or I don't know. Maybe that the games have changed. There's more games available.
Personally, for my coaching journey, I think the ability of other coaches to share has massively opened up. I mean, if you just look on social media at the minute, the amount of CPD that's available to coaches, and again, I was speaking to a coach earlier today in the women's game. He sat on a webinar tonight with Steve McLaren, and another one's with Lee Johnson at Bristol. So it's out there, and it's a phenomenal time to sort of upskill, I suppose, and as we mentioned before, come out of the fast lane. What would you say your aspirations are now, Mackenzie? You know, a couple of years in the foundation phase, B licence. Where's Mackenzie going to be in the next 5 years?
For me, I want to go down the teaching path. So I mentioned earlier, next year, or starting in September, hopefully, I go on to my teaching course, which is a 1-year course, where at the end of it, hopefully I get me certificate in teaching. So I want to be a high school teacher, but I also want to, yeah, it is brave, I know. But I want to be a coach alongside that. I want to still coach the under 10s, and I still want to coach in the foundation phase. To do that, because I think if I can combine both, I think it'll make me better at both. So if I'm a teacher and I'm learning to deal with people in different testing situations, I think that'll help me in the way I speak to players when I'm coaching, really.
What do you prefer, coaching or playing?
I'd probably say, I'm going to still say playing. Last 2 years, I haven't been great down at the bottom in relegation, but I'm still 22. I'm still a young lad, so I think I do enjoy coaching. Don't get me wrong; it's absolutely class. But if my neck was online, I had to choose. I'd just say playing, just about. But ask me, and I think it might be because of the virus as well, because I'm stuck in the house. I can do a little bit of coaching online, like I can, like say, look at the webinars, but I can't play football in my house. So, but yeah, probably just football. But maybe in a couple of years, I think that might change.
As you say, you're still quite young. Play for as long as you can. I'm pretty sure that's what you'd tell the players that you coach. Before we sort of let you go, Mackenzie, we've got a little thing that we do on the podcast, a bit of a quick fire round. And I know you recently scored a goal that won your university side the league. A little bit different. Last minute winner to get promoted, or a last minute winner to escape relegation?
I think it's got to be for promotion. Like you say, I've done it. We had a great night after, so yeah, I think it's got to be promotion. Yeah.
You're the third guest at the minute, Mackenzie, and everyone's gone for promotion. I think I might need to change that question to make it a bit tougher. Who's your best friend in football?
Best friend in football. Got a few. Like you say, I've been around football for years, but probably in the pro game, probably say James Gibbons, give a right back at Vale. Did my YT with him. He's a good lad. Still in contact with him, so yeah, probably.
Okay. Toughest opponent?
Toughest opponent. I'd probably say, going on, probably say Jesse Lingard. When we played against him, it was in the reserves, and he hadn't been selected for a Europa League game for Man United a couple of seasons ago. He played with us, and he was unbelievable. He was getting the ball off the goalkeeper, and he was doing rainbow flicks and everything. I tried kicking, but I couldn't even get close.
the old pass. Best trainer?
Best trainer? I'd probably say best trainer. I've got two here. One is probably Gibbo for his work rate and everything like that. Plays how he trains how he plays. Sorry, but then another one on quality. A lad called Tom Ashton, who I'm still quite good mates with. Yeah. Walk around, wouldn't do a lot. Then he'd get on the ball and he'd measure you 3 times and put it in the top corner. Only in training, though. That's what I was going to say. Only in training. Wouldn't do it in a game, but 5-a-side and training. Yeah, he was class.
Yeah. He came through the YT scheme with yourself.
Yeah. Same year. Yeah. Good lad.
Worst dressed teammate?
Worst dressed. Tell you what, there's a few at Amley Town. I'll tell you that. I'd probably go for Thorpe, Josh Thorpe. He wears some horrendous stuff. Like I'm talking skin tight jeans and bowling ball shoes and like the full jazz, honestly, with his big hair as well. But yeah, gotta be him.
I'm sure he'll appreciate that on the podcast. Worst taste in music?
Worst taste. To be fair, I've been a DJ last season, the season before, so can't be me. I'd probably say some of the young lads, might be Niall or maybe Ollie Putman. They come in and they put some like rave stuff on, and I'm all into a little bit of house, but some of the stuff, mate, horrendous.
We had our previous guest. He nominated his whole youth team for their taste in music. It must be a young man's thing.
Yeah.
Best player you've played with?
Best player I've played with. Probably going back to my time at Vale in the reserve team. He was coming to the end of his career actually, but probably Michael Brown. Right. Really, he ended up being Vale's manager for a bit, didn't he? But he was playing in the reserves quite a lot because he was doing his coaching badges, and like I say, he was coming to the end of his career. But just the way he carried himself and in reserve team games, he was still getting on it and still running more than us 18-year-old lads, and he was what, 30 odd, and yeah, he was a class above really. But that mint as well around the training ground would sort you out with anything really, and always got a funny story to tell, to be fair. So yeah, I think it'd be him.
It is. Is there anybody you'd like to hear on the podcast, or maybe recommend for us to get in touch with?
Yeah, probably Gibbo would be a good one. I know he's done one before. He's done a couple before at Vale, but yeah, I reckon he would. He's a little bit boring, but I think you could get some good questions out of him.
I'll have a go at that. I might tap you up for his number and
yeah, I'll get on
there. Macca, look, it's been great. I think hopefully, across academy level and grassroots level, there's going to be some key points for coaches coaching at the foundation phase there. And I just want to say, I know you're busy with your uni work, so thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us today, mate. It's always a pleasure to chat football with you. I wish you all the success for your uni and obviously your PGC, and we'll see you soon once we get back to normality, if we can call it that.
No, cheers, mate. Thanks for having me.
Top man.
Class.
Stay safe, bud.
Yeah, and you. Cheers, mate.
Bye-bye.
Lockdown has allowed us to keep up with our fitness and look after our bodies a little bit better. What better way to continue that trend by getting a 3 weeks pass with our friends over at Gorilla Training in Newcastle-under-Lyme. A fun and friendly place to train with varied classes, ladies only and weights classes. Gorilla circuits are designed to deliver consistently varied functional movements performed at high intensity intervals. Using the code PCT Gorilla COVID-19 to get yourselves a week free pass at the gym when it is safe to do so. For any more info, search Gorilla Training on Facebook. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed the content that we're trying to bring to you. Don't forget, new episodes will be released every Monday. You can find us on the iTunes Store, Spotify, and if you want to see the video, you can see it on our YouTube channel, PCT Football Coaching.